Get ready for 8 Ways to Survive a Plane Crash, according to flight attendants. They say the airplane is the safest mode of mass transportation in the world. Your chances of dying in a plane crash are about 1 in 11 million, which means the worst only happens once every 2 million flights. However, you have a chance to survive a plane accident if you follow certain important rules. Like don't get on in the first place. Well, Alright, here's number 1. If possible, choose larger planes. Not all plane accidents are fatal. Sometimes the aircraft can lose altitude, slide off the runway, or get into extreme turbulence without any passengers dying or even getting injured, although you might lose your peanuts. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board studied past aircraft accidents and calculated there's a 95% survival rate on those. If you have a choice when buying tickets, make it wisely. According to Boeing, the safest aircraft to fly in are Boeing 717, Bombardier CRJ 700, 900, 1000 regional jet family, Airbus A380, Boeing 787, Boeing 747-8, Airbus A350, and Airbus A340. These planes have never gotten into fatal accidents. The Airbus A320 family and the Boeing 737 family also have great safety records. Airlines operating larger jets always follow the super strict safety regulations. Smaller airplanes of regional carriers have a somewhat higher accident rate. It's not just because of the planes, but also the fact that their pilots are often overworked and less experienced. Number 2. Pick the right seat. Now, the left might work for you too, but how about pick the correct seat? When picking your seat on an airplane, always remember the 5-row rule. Your chances of survival are much higher if you're sitting in the exit row or within a 5-row distance from it. According to Professor Ed Gallia of the University of Greenwich, plane crash survivors are normally those people who covered the distance of 5 rows to safety. He analyzed 105 plane crashes and interviewed over 2,000 such survivors and crew members to come to this conclusion. The aisle seat is a better choice for the same reason. You'll need less time to escape from it. It gives you a higher chance of survival with 64%, compared to 58% of those who are right by the window. We all know there are emergency exits in different parts of the plane, so which one should you choose to sit next to? Go for the back of the plane. Time magazine analyzed data of the Federal Aviation Administration Aircraft Accident Database for flights over the course of 35 years. They concluded the fatality rate in the rear third of the aircraft was 32%, the middle part 39%, and the front third had a 38% likeliness of fatality. Of course, there are exceptions to each rule. There are stories of survivors who covered the distance of 19 rows to the emergency exit. And sometimes, when exits got blocked or jammed, people who were sitting right by them had to look for other ways to safety. Number 3. Dress appropriately. So, don't dress to impress as you're getting ready to get on board. Dress to survive instead. Are you sure you'll be able to run for your life on high heels or in a pencil skirt? Yeah, I don't think so. Put on comfy jeans and sport shoes instead. If a plane has to make an emergency landing and the engine gets on fire, you'll want to be dressed in something that won't catch on that fire. A report from the National Transportation Safety Board states that 68% of all passengers in aircraft accidents died of burn injuries and smoke inhalation. To increase your safety levels, wear 100% organic cotton or wool. Those materials don't melt, unlike synthetic fabrics. Take a handkerchief with you so you can make wet and use as a breathing mask in case you don't get a regular one. Pick long-sleeve clothes to cover more of your skin. Number 4. Study the safety car and listen to the flight attendants. Yep, that's me. Frequent flyers will most likely ignore this one. If you're one of them, here is news for you. Federal Aviation Administration reports that those who fly more often and choose to skip the safety rules are the least informed passengers on the flight. You can sure fasten your seatbelt no problem. But do you know how to put on your oxygen mask or inflate the life jacket? Don't ignore the safety instruction and watch the flight crew point the emergency exits nearest to you as well. Have an evacuation plan in mind, because if it comes to the worst, you won't have time to figure out the quickest route to safety. Click like if you promise to pay attention to what you're being told the next time you fly. Heh, well done. Number 5. Remember the +3 -8 rule. Here's some math. Flight crash statistics show that around 80% of all crashes happen during the first 3 minutes after takeoff and the last 8 minutes before landing. So it's critically important that you stay focused and alert during those time intervals. Don't drink any alcohol before the flight. It will get you too relaxed and unable to take action if something happens. Don't fall asleep until the plane is stable in the sky, and wake up before landing. Make sure your seatbelt is fastened securely and your shoes are on. Those shoes better be sneakers or just flats. Keep your emergency action plan in mind and go over it, but don't freak out and scare other passengers. Remember, an accident is super unlikely to happen. But if it does, you'll know what to do. Number 6. Brace for impact. When the plane is making an emergency landing, the crew will ask you to brace for impact. It's a good idea also to remove all sharp objects from your pockets if you have time for that. Your keys, pens, and carry-on will block the way to evacuation if they spread on the floor. Then, check if your seatbelt is securely fastened. It will help minimize the effect of gravity force on you. If there is a seat in front of you, cross your hands on it and place your forehead on top of the hands to protect your head from injuries. If there is no seat in front of you to lean on, bend over as far as you can, grab your knees, and rest your head on them. Keep it down until the plane stops. Cover your head with your hands for extra protection. If you have any doubts as to which position you should take, consult the safety card. The right position can save you from injury. Number 7. Be prepared to escape in 90 seconds. Once you've survived a crash landing, it's high time to get out of that airplane. You will have no time for hesitation or panic, since all you've got is 90 seconds. So, people who are young and physically fit have more chances of surviving at this stage. Fire spreads unbelievably quickly and consumes everything in its way. So you can't celebrate your survival and embrace others before you exit the aircraft and move to a safe distance from it. Most people underestimate the power of fire and believe it would take around a half an hour for a plane to burn to ashes, according to surveys. It's just a minute and a half. So use it wisely and follow the safe escape rules. Speaking of which, number 8. Follow the general safe escape rules. In case of emergency landing and evacuation, don't panic. Once the plane is on ground or water, unfasten your seatbelt and quickly move to the exit. Don't push people trying to get in front of them. Remember, there are other exits. If the aisle is blocked, climb over seats, bending their backs. Don't take carry-on with you. Keep your hands free. Avoid inhaling smoke. Protect your mouth and nose with your clothes. Bend down or grapple toward the exit. Don't open the emergency exits if there is fire or smoke behind them. Once you get out of the plane, run away from it as fast as possible to save yourself from the explosion. Don't let the fear of flying prevent you from going places. Remember that planes are becoming safer and safer, and according to the National Transportation Safety Board, 95.7% of passengers survive even if some accident happens.